So, Assalamualaikum and good morning to you, Encik Azril. So, first of all, I would like to say thank you for spending your time with us for conducting this interview, which was our second part for the school's YouTube channel. And before we start, I would like to say congratulations on being the Deputy Dean of Academic Career and National and Affairs. Amy, do you have anything to say?
Congratulations on your second term in the academic affairs and stuff.
So the purpose of this interview with you is that our students, the English for Professional students, they want to ask a lot of questions that they might want to know later when they come back here for the face-to-face sessions.
Yeah.
And for example, during their time here, they want to know how is EFP unique and what distinguishes it from most English programs in other universities.
Yeah. Waalaikumsalam and thank you for coming here even during your semester break. So I'm happy to be part of the YouTube channel. All right, and I'll try and answer whatever questions that you have. So with regards to EFP, in my opinion, it's a very special program. Right? So how does it differ from what we have in USM or anywhere in Malaysia in the sense that it's not just theory based, right? So yeah, maybe the first few semesters, like 1 or 2 semesters, you learn the background of English, for example, the history of English, the structure as well, the grammar, and so on and so forth. But later, in the subsequent semesters, you go something more practical, something more specific, like English for law, English for media, English for administration. So there is a progression, basically, right? So what you learn, right, in theory, and then in practical. So what we hope from this program, right? So whatever that you have learned in EFP would be useful in later, in whatever job that you do. So that's a very unique selling point, what I say, when it comes to UFP, right? So for example, when you look for a job, right, there is no such thing as English administrator,
Yes.
right? Unlike a doctor, right? So unlike a doctor or a dentist, so in a job portal you say, oh, dentist. So you have a degree in dentistry.
Yes.
So that is a job that you look for. So for EFP students, it's very unique. Okay, so they can go basically in a lot of jobs out there, right? So it's up to the students themselves to find whichever that they are interested in, whichever that they are keen. So that's what I find unique about EFP.
Okay, so thank you for that. I also agree that this program offers a whole lot of practical skills, also theoretical skills for the students to use in their future career. And also it encompasses everything that you need to have a career later in life.
Right.
So moving on, what services are offered by the school to students in need of help or tutoring?
Yeah, I guess the first person that we need to seek if you need any help and so on or assistance, that would actually be your academic advisor. All right, so I would like to stress on this, okay, because students sometimes they do not know or they do not remember who their supervisors or their academic advisors are. All right, so the first point of reference for any student would actually be the academic advisor, right? Because we have had a lot of cases whereby students do not understand, for example, what are the courses or the courses that they need to register, for example, for the next semester, right? And what are the units that they need to take, and what, for example, the type, like we have T for core courses, M for minor, U for university courses, right? And then we have E for elective courses. So sometimes students are confused, and I don't blame you guys, and I don't blame them. So maybe in the sense that because when you heard it for the first time, you guys are still new, right? So it's trying to grasp whatever info about these courses. So the first person that I would highly recommend to see whatever issues that you have would be your academic advisor. So that person, hence the name academic advisor, because that person or that lecturer, yeah, exactly, exactly. So that's the main purpose, right? So supposed to advise you further, right? Especially on academic matters. However, if you have other issues like personal, it can be, I don't know, monetary issues, family issues, health issues, it would be good as well if they can talk to their academic advisor first. Right?
Very important.
Because in terms of the management, right, of the school, the first person that we refer to actually is also the academic advisor if the student has a problem. Right? So it is good that the student is close to the advisor. So what the school actually planned to do, I think I've spoken this with Dr. Abbas, is to have a session before the semester begins in October with all the lecturers. So whereby they are again reminded of their duties as academic advisor. All right. So that's one. We've also had cases, for example, students who are in EFP. When it comes to English proficiency, we see that they need further encouragement, further improvement. All right. So we have a program which is called Come Chat With Me. All right. So that will help in their speaking ability, especially. All right. So because the first thing that you go, for example, for an interview. So what is the first thing that they assess? Especially if you are an AFP student.
Language proficiency.
Exactly,
Yes.
your language proficiency. So how do you carry yourself? Okay, so Come Chat With Me is in a way to improve your proficiency, right? So it's a very structured program, all right, handle one of our teachers who are actually from United States, all right? So that will help them actually improve their proficiency and hopefully motivate them to speak better, all right? So that I would say something that I would highly recommend. You have, if you think that, oh, you want to improve further in terms of your speaking skills, all right? Any other services that we have here? Of course, being the School of Languages, Literacies and Translation, we also have translation services if you need one, because we have students from various nationalities,
Yes.
right? So we have that kind of service. Unfortunately, we do not have a Thai and a German language teacher for now. That's the drawback, right? But the other 7 foreign languages, it's not an issue. Yeah.
So just now you mentioned Come Chat With Me. How
Yeah.
would the students, for example, how would they apply to join the program? Because for me, I think they know the programs are offered, but then they
Yeah.
don't know how to contact someone who is in charge
Yeah,
of this stuff.
yeah. It's actually blasted via email to all the staff and students of USM, all right, via Pentali even. Okay, so it's done basically like once a week before the semester starts and even when the semester has started. So you can still find the email, all right, or you can actually contact the teacher directly, who is Mr. Lance Orion Ong, all right. So you can register via email or you can come and talk to him personally. There are slots that you can choose. It can last for half an hour, for 1 hour, and it's open to all the students in USM, and classes are conducted from Monday to Friday, every day. It's every day. So at least if you can come once a week, that's good enough, right? Since it's only one teacher, we cannot cater to everyone, right? It will be too big, it will be too huge, right? It's a huge responsibility, right?
So I would like to continue with, for example, earlier you mentioned about the credit hours. So students have been wondering if they have a lot of credit hours, how would they balance their academic life and also their non-academic life in USM?
Yeah. I think you've learned this even when you were in school, high school, secondary school, so even in university, even working people like me. So number one is time management.
Yes.
Alright, that's the keyword. Okay, alright. So we would like to have graduates, alright, who have finished EFP program or whatever program under the school, to be well balanced. Okay, so that is what we're trying to produce. So not just to focus on academic matters per se. No. Right. So we like you to get involved in all the clubs, societies available on campus, right? Because when you join all these activities under clubs and societies, you learn a new skill. Okay, what I mean here, new skill is basically soft skills, and you don't learn all these soft skills in class, right? The lecturers or the teachers do not teach you soft skills, right?
Yes.
So how do you learn this? So via these clubs and societies. Okay. So whether you are a president, a secretary, or just a normal member of the society, you learn about, what do you learn about? You learn about teamwork, right? You learn about your responsibility as a committee member. You learn about deadlines and so on and so forth. You learn about communication with other people and so on and so forth. Not just within USM. It can be projects they have done, I don't know, internationally, right, at the university level, also whatever level. So these are the experiences that we would like you to have. Yeah, all right.
And not to mention the
Yeah.
benefits joining clubs have.
Yep.
Such as MyCSD and so on.
Yes. Yeah, of course. Right, of course, many students are chasing my CSD because they want to stay in a hostel and things like that. All right, true. But yeah, but beyond that, we would like you to see beyond that. So it's just not about that, about my CSD, but how can you improve your personal self? All right. So maybe at the beginning of the semester, maybe you're first year student or second year student, you're a bit shy and so on and so forth. But we would like to see you grow. Right, so that's what we want to see, right? We want to see you grow. Okay, so maybe someone who is beginning is a bit timid, a bit shy, but somehow towards the end, he or she has improved. Not to be like super confident, but at least she or he has learned something from the program, something from the university. That's why we say that learning face to face, coming back to the campus, is very important, right? Learning things online to us, we say, well, yeah, to a certain extent it is possible, but in terms of human interaction, it's always better face to face, right? It's that instant physical connection, which is lost when you have a WebEx, right? When you have classes via WebEx or interviews, or I'm sure you have discussions in WebEx among yourselves. You feel like there's something missing there, right?
Human interaction.
You don't see the connection, right? The physical whatever attributes and so on and so forth. You don't see that in WebEx, right? So maybe the chemistry as well, right? You don't see that. Okay, between students, between lecturers and students. Okay, so that is why we would like the students to be back on campus, right? And we can't wait for that.
Now that we're in the topic of activities, is there a lot of activities between the students and the school here in Solat?
Well, prior to COVID-19, prior to the pandemic, yes, I would say yes. But during the pandemic itself, since everything's held online, like we have mentioned just now, yeah, we do have a lot of activities like talk for students, right? I mean, most of the time it's just talk. That's the only thing we can do online, unfortunately, right? Even demonstrations and so on, yes, we can do it online, but then again, it's not the same. All right, when you see things on your own, right, with your own eyes, you're there, you experience it, it's very different. All right, so activities like what we had previously, for example, for any freshies or new students, for example, right? So we have activities to welcome them. So we hope to have that again this coming semester. All right, and we are also planning activities for year 2 and year 3 students, something like a get together. Right? Because it's been 2.5 years that you guys have not seen each other. Right? For example, Amy, right? You've never met your classmates.
My friends. I've never even met Syafiq.
I never met her.
Exactly, right? So the interaction between juniors and seniors, all that was lost for the past 2.5 years. So we would like to have that again. Alright, so you guys know each other. Alright, so next time when you graduate, you say, oh, this used to be my senior, used to be my junior, and so on and so forth, right? And this spirit of togetherness
Yes,
is missing. Alright, when I was in university, alright, so we always have activities together. Okay, so that's why until now we are still in very close contact with each other,
Yes.
even though it was like 20, 30 years ago. That shows how old I am. Okay. All right. So that closeness that we have is due to being together for a long time. So we hope to achieve that, even though you only have 1 year left. You have 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So hopefully within that 1 year, 2 years, you can still develop. Yeah, you can still progress. Get to know each other. All right. So annual dinner as well. That's another one that we used to do. All right. So hopefully we can start things off again with activities like that.
So that's all for questions in terms of academics.
Yeah.
But before that,
Mm.
there's one question I would like to ask you.
Sure.
You mentioned your university life before.
Mm.
So what is it that you remember the most on your university life before?
Oh, well, in university, I took what we call teaching English as a second language, or TESOL,
Yes.
right? And I studied in basically half of the program was in Shah Alam, all right? And then the other half was in Bangi, UKM. Right? So I would say the most unforgettable experience would be actually the time I've had with my classmates. That's the most interesting one for me. In the TESOL program, especially in mine, there were only like 15 guys, and there were over 100 ladies. I think similarly to your EFP in a way.
Yes.
So when it comes to teaching programs or English language programs, females will outnumber the males easily. All right, but it's just like I mentioned just now, right? It's just the interaction with the classmates, right? And the courses, of course, they were very interesting. And then I had to go for teaching practice and so on and so forth, and that was fun as well. Even though at the beginning I didn't consider myself as a teacher, I said, no, I'm a quiet person, I don't like to mix around. But that's why I'm saying this now. The program changed me. The experience at the school during my teaching practice, it changed me. And then my experience after that, teaching in a rural school in Sarawak, that changed me. That changed my perception as a teacher. So that's what we hope to achieve in your program as well. You might at the beginning say, oh, what am I doing here in FP? I don't see my future. So hopefully after going through the program, hopefully, all right, so you have the same, same experience like I did, all right, and open up your eyes saying that, oh, this was an enriching program. It's not just meeting people, it's not just about the program, but I've learned something and I've improved myself as a whole.
Thank you. That was very insightful for everything you've explained to us. How about you, Amy? Do you have anything to say?
That was quite a good information for me as a first year.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
it's very interesting to know about you.
Yeah.
And I think that's it from me. But though I have questions as a first year student, I guess a lot of first year students are struggling with this. Like they're like thinking, we're gonna have our internship in the second year.
Yeah.
So we're like probably guessing at myself, how am I going to get an internship? It's been online, and how?
Yeah.
Where should I go to? So that's a question that we want to ask you,
Yeah.
and I'm asking you. How does our school Solat help in students to find internships?
Yeah. As you know, internships in EFP, there are two of them, right? LEM 200 and LEM 300, right? So 300 is the one where you actually go to the company, to the institution to do the actual practical work for 8 weeks minimum. LEM 200 is basically, it's more of a research of the organization, and then you come up with a report. Right? So with regards to your query, it's a very good question because I get this all the time. All right. So how can the school help? I mean, you have to remember, number one, the reason we have internships. Why? It's because to educate you, so later when you look for a job out there, this is what you should do. For example, let's say you have finished AFP. Okay? So what are the steps to look for a job? So of course you go through job portals and so on and so forth. You start uploading your resume and then you start contacting various companies and so on and so forth. So those are the steps in order for you to find a job. So the internship experience, which we hope will teach you that kind of step as well. So it's your responsibility, it's your duty to approach those companies with our letter, right? With our huge magical letter saying that you say, oh, okay, I'm from USM, right? Can you please take me in? That is actually a way for you to experience how to look for a job, right? So we would like, in a way, would not want to spoon feed you. Okay, you go there and you go there, all right? So we do not go through the experience of looking for a job, all right? So via internship, even for internship purpose, there are steps that you need to go through. Okay, you submit your letter, and then you get a response from an employer. Employer may say, sorry, please look for another company. Those are the things that you will face later in life, for sure.
Rejection.
All right, rejection. That's normal.
Yes.
All right. So how do you bounce from that? So you take that letter again, go to another company.
Yeah.
All right. That's basically
Don't
it.
stop.
Yeah. You don't stop. Right? You continue doing so and so on and so forth. However, the school can also help in terms of, because this program has going on for 10 years already, 10 years or so at EFB. And we have a database actually, which is handled by Mr. Azril. Okay, a database of companies which your seniors have gone to. So a list of companies, a list of institutions. Right? So what we can do to help at least is to give the list to you. We used to display that list as well on our notice board 3 years ago. But now with technology, of course, we can just distribute that list. So in that list, there are a list of companies basically, which you're seeing, like I said, which you're seeing in segment 2. So what you can do is you can actually contact them directly, right? So hopefully that helps, right? As you can see from the list of companies and the jobs that they have undertaken, say, wow, they can do this, they can do that. Right? So your scope is actually huge. Right? And one good thing that I've heard about our interns, most of the companies would like to continue employing them. Right? Unfortunately, you have to come back here for year 3. You cannot continue. All right. So maybe this is something that the management is looking at as well.
To change it.
Correct. Either to change it, that's one. And also to prolong, right? Because employers are saying that 8 weeks is way too short.
Yes. For most companies.
Exactly.
Yes.
So you're looking at something like 3 months and above.
Yes.
If possible, 1 semester,
Yes.
like some of the schools are doing,
Yeah.
right? 1 semester for internship alone. I have no problem actually with this. All right. So maybe you complete your 3 years program and then the final semester will be your internship for another 6 months. And then who knows, you might get a job right after that. Right? So extending it to 3.5 years, I don't see it as an issue, as a problem. But I do not know how viable is this proposal. It has to go through a lot of processes and so on. But basically, in terms of internship, that's how we can assist you. Right? Okay? So we can distribute a list of companies and so on.
I think that should answer my first question.
Mm.
And the second following question would be, I get this a lot from my relatives, from my aunts, from my own friends sometimes. I joined English for Professionals. What is that? Are you going to be a teacher?
Exactly.
And I would be speechless because I would be like not sure myself.
Yeah.
So what are the career paths that EFB students
Yes.
can go for?
Yeah. Yeah, this is another question which is also popular, especially among first year students.
Yeah.
Alright, even final year students sometimes. Alright, like I said in the beginning, right? They are somehow questioning themselves. Why am I here? What am I doing here?
Yeah.
What is this EFP all about? Alright, some of them had no choice because that was the only program that was
Yeah.
offered. Right. Okay. So interestingly, throughout the years that I've been here, your seniors, for instance, right, have worked in many industries. Okay, so I met one three months ago who's now working in Intel. I was like, what are you doing there in Intel?
Yeah.
All right. So apparently Intel takes in students who has a degree in whatever field. All right. For example, I've forgotten the name of the position, right? But there are actually two of your seniors are there. So we can actually get you connected with your seniors as well, if you wish to. Intel is a huge
Yes.
multinational company,
Yes.
right?
Famous one.
Yes, exactly. So I was like, oh, that's good. And then previously we had people working with AirAsia as well, in the communications department, HR department as well, in the banking sector. I said, even I didn't know that you guys can go into this area, right? So that surprised me. Okay, so if your friends were to ask you these questions again, actually, the sky is the limit to me.
Yes.
All right.
You can dream of.
I mean, yeah, media, of course, that goes without saying already, right? Everyone's thinking teaching, media, what else can we do?
Yes, of
All right. So it depends on you, basically. What do you want to do? All right. There are a lot of areas. I think I presented this before. I think when we had physical meetings with first year students, I listed something around 30 jobs.
Wow.
30 jobs which currently being undertaken by your seniors, and we can list those jobs again, no problem, right? With the help of Dr. Abbas, we can just show you this is where they are working, because right after graduation we have to track, the school has to track where you guys are you guys working or not? Yeah, so from that data we can see that, oh, okay, you guys are doing this, doing that. So that's where we find it interesting.
I see, even that's interesting to me.
Yeah,
myself.
exactly. Right.
So,
Mm.
well, I'm quite shocked to know that our seniors have been to Intel
Yeah.
and multinational companies
Yes.
and so on.
Yep.
So, going on with career path,
Mm.
what do you think is the key for professional success?
Yeah. I think number one is, to me, to have a positive attitude to everything.
Yes.
Right? No matter how low or how down or how blue you feel, right? Always remember, maybe there's a silver lining to this. Okay? People always say, once you fall down, you always get back up, right? So that's something which I believe in myself. Okay, whatever criticisms that you face and so on and so forth, well, don't take it too much. Don't take it too hard too much, right? Take it as more of trying to improve yourself. Okay, fine. That's what you said about me. Now, what can I do to improve myself from that? Okay, so take things positively rather than negatively. Yes, you reflect on what you do and so on and so forth. So, I think if you have that basis, you have that mindset, okay, to take everything positively, I think that, again, sky's the limit. You can do anything, right? When people say no to you, you say, yeah, it's fine.
Okay,
I'll do what I
another way.
like. Yeah, I'll do it. Right, I want to do what I like. Why not? Yeah, find another way. Okay? Right, so that positive attitude to me is very important. Of course, there are other things as well, right? How you carry yourself, Okay, how you speak to people, how you communicate with people, and so on. Yeah, that, of course, very important. To me, having that positive mindset is
I would like to continue
Mhm.
Amira's question
Mm.
earlier. Professional success.
important.
As you may know, like some of the EIP students are
Mm.
very high achievers,
Mm.
and they might want to join international stuff that the school has offered. So, is there like what can you tell us about, for example, exchange programs from in abroad?
Okay, all right. Maybe in a way, there are two things here. Number one is international exchange, all right? Secondly, maybe something like what we call cultural exchange. Okay, so we have two what we call options here. For those with money, I highly encourage that you go for international exchange program. If you do not have that kind of funds, then perhaps cultural exchange at the school level, at university level, right? It's best. Okay. So now, if you look at international exchange, yeah, having good CGPA is one. All right. Another one, like I said, you need to have your own funds. Okay. Because if you're looking at going to Australia, Japan, Korea, European countries, all right, which are always very popular among students. But when they see the cost of living, they say, oh, okay, I will draw my application. Never mind. But what interesting is, because we have, for example, agreements with these foreign universities, USM has a lot of agreements, universities all over the world. And most of the time, they cover the cost of accommodation. Most of the time, right? So if their students, let's say a university from Japan, they send the students here, their accommodation in USM is also free, right? Same goes to whatever courses that you decide to take in a foreign university. That is also free. You do not have to pay for that, okay? But everything else, right? Food, transport, that you have to consider. Even flight tickets as well. So pocket money, everything like that. Traveling, I'm sure you like to do traveling when you're there in a foreign country, correct? You won't be just sitting in your campus, right? You want to travel. So those are the things that you need to consider. Okay, so if you want to go for international exchange, of course the first unit that you need to visit would be IMCC, right? International Mobility and Collaboration Center, right? So IMCC. So they will inform you, okay, these are the list of universities that we have agreements with that you can go to, and you can look at actually what they provide, whether they provide accommodation, whether they provide meals, and so on and so forth, whether there are scholarship as well. So they can tell you, right, from that list. Okay? So from that, you think that, oh, I want to go here. Okay. So why not? You can apply by MCC. Okay, which I highly recommend. Okay, I'm sorry about. In addition to that, usually international exchange will last for at least one semester or 2 semesters if you want to extend. All right, so which means you will have to extend your studies as well. But again, I really recommend you to go. Even though extending for 1 semester is still fine. Because the experience of international exchange is something that you really cannot buy, right? You cannot experience it in the country. Okay? Right? For cultural exchange, yeah. So for example, we have visitors from Japan, from Thailand, when they bring their students. Most recent would be students from Malala University. Yeah, so that is the best way for you to experience an activity with international students. Right? So, please, students of EFP, if you have programs like this, I highly encourage you guys to join.
So, like, what would you think between the two options, international and cultural? What are the benefits for the students between them two?
I mean, basically, it's the experience.
Okay.
All right, the experience, because what they learn in their own university is different from what we have here. So when you have this cultural exchange, even overseas, you will see that, oh, okay, in terms of their custom is different. The way they learn is different. Even the way they greet their lecturers are different. All right, the way of life is different. The food is different. So when you have cultural exchange here, those are the things that we usually discuss. Right? The food that they have over there, the culture, the customs. All right. So even though you're not there, all right. So it's like bringing the university here. All right. So if you cannot go there, so that's the next best thing.
Wow, it's been a very insightful interview, hasn't it, Amy?
Yes, it has. I really love all the details, all the inputs that we have gotten today.
Yeah.
Azril has been very helpful, hasn't he?
Yeah.
No problem. Anytime.
I think we should. I think that's all from us. We would like to give many thanks to you for spending your time with us. Although you're busy with your work and everything, we still would like to thank you for spending your time and helping the future students of EFT.
Yeah. I hope I've done that. But my door is always open. Okay. I'm here most of the time. So if you have any other questions, right, or the students of EFT out there, you have any other issues, please come and drop by. Right. So let us know and let's see how we can help. Okay. Right. So it's been nice talking to you guys as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.